Internet! Welcome! I have finally figured out how to do this without my OBS messing up. I somehow messed up my stream keys, so I've been trying to go live for a couple days. Unfortunately, it did not work out, so this is a completely impromptu, spontaneous Sunday stream. If you can't tell, I love alliteration. So this is me jumping on. Hopefully you guys find this at some point in my whole repertoire. People have found it. Excellent. All right, so I figured out how to jump on YouTube without Streamlabs, which I'm very proud of because, to be honest, it has been quite the uphill battle. I wanted to say hi to you guys because I have yet to miss a single week, and I do not want to start now. So this is a spontaneous Sunday stream. We are going to talk about Bale in Thor, Love and Thunder. We are going to talk about Bond being pushed back due to coronavirus concerns. We are going to talk about the Batmobile images we got. So it is Bale, Batman, and Bond. Again, alliteration season is my jam. This is Coy Cubed. That is Coy's Comics, Curls, and Cinema. I am very excited to be joining you guys today. Now, I will probably be doing maybe one more in this location, and then I'll be in the new space. So I moved into a spot, and it's 2020, so I thought everywhere had internet. I learned a valuable lesson. The internet is not everywhere. The place I moved literally doesn't have Ethernet. It doesn't have a phone jack. I have no access, so I had to make do. So I'm here, but hopefully I'll have internet this week, and then the show will have its full set. We've got a 4K camera. We've got microphones ready to roll. Very excited. All right, so I'm going to kick it off, starting with Bond moving to November. Now, this starts a giant conversation itself because this is indicative of a lot of things. Basically, I'm terrified because now not only do we have the South by Southwest getting canceled, Emerald City Comic Con getting postponed indefinitely, but also we have the potential of maybe WonderCon not happening. People talking about maybe San Diego Comic Con being at risk. I'm really curious what that means long term. I don't know what this is going to mean for movie release dates because Bond moving to November, that's a much more crowded marketplace. We're talking about potentially a loss of $50 million plus, not to mention all the marketing costs. They're going to have to remarket the film. They're going to have to change the push of trailers. They're going to have to re-up their marketing plans for November, which is an interesting thing that I've not seen before. And it's going to be overall really interesting to see how this changes the climate of the year. MGM needs a win. Sony needs a win. James Bond is one of their big not Sony, Paramount. One of their big cash cows. They really need this movie. So I'm really curious how this shapes things. We also, I see in the live chat, we have Black Widow moving up to April 30th, which that's a great move on Marvel's part. It's not like that hurts. Those 3 days, I'm not mad at getting the movie 3 days early. We also got Top Gun moving up 2 days early. That's way later in the summer, but getting Top Gun on Wednesday instead of Friday, hell yeah. Give me that Top Gun. I am ready to fly him through the danger zone 48 hours early, as soon as frickin' possible, which also means I think it comes out Wednesday. We get to see it Tuesday night. So guys, Top Gun 2. I could literally do an hour about Top Gun 2. So I'm really excited. I'm really concerned about the shape of the world. The coronavirus is something that I feel like I'm not a scientist, so I don't want to speak to the actual science of it. But I do think that if people buy all the soap, then the people they're worried about interacting with can't get soap. So I think that people overstocking may be the thing that leads to the apocalypse. I always knew stupidity would lead to the apocalypse, but I didn't think it was consumerism and stupidity. But if anyone can do it, it's America. Perhaps capitalism will be the most obvious death of all. Anyway, coronavirus, it's very interesting that Target, Costco, we're all out of the stuff. But if you're hoarding all the stuff, not everybody can get it, and then you're not going to not go out. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But I am bummed about ECC. I am bummed about South by. It's also terrifying that the insurance didn't cover South by, so they're effectively out millions of dollars because of the situation. It's really a scary time. I definitely think that this is the first pandemic that hasn't been declared a pandemic in the more traditional sense. This is also the first time we've dealt with something like this since the internet was so active. Like swine flu came out and there was the internet, but there wasn't like Twitter to this level. There wasn't all of the viral marketing for viral contagions. Like, it's a really interesting thing. Like, this will be historic. We're gonna see this shift the film landscape, the con landscape, the world landscape, and it starts with Bond. I think James Bond is the first movie to really have this effect in such a large way. it's really interesting because Mission Impossible Fallout, which is what I feel like kind of reignite the whole James Bond. I feel like Mission Impossible and Jason Bourne brought James Bond back. So it's really interesting that we had the Movie Pass thing collapse around Fallout, and then that was hysterical madness for movie fans, but now we have actual real world problems and a real world event that's moving James Bond. So it's really interesting how movie release dates are shifting due to the world. It's pretty crazy. All right, so I want to move away from the coronavirus. As I said, I'm not a scientist. Please wash your hands. Please do whatever you feel safe about. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still going to the movie theaters. I don't think removing yourself from society is ever the answer, but I'm not a scientist. Please take care of yourself. If you're watching this, I especially care about you. You're fantastic people. Do what you feel is right. Lean with your instincts. So I feel like we should talk about the Batmobile. Guys, the Batmobile looks dope. I am so excited for this Batmobile. It looks like Scott Snyder's Year One had a very motorcycle motif, and we've seen the bike. But it also had this very stripped down, Year Two scenario where he's not been Batman that long, and it looks like everything's actually homemade. It looks like he's actually able to build all this stuff. So seeing a homemade Batmobile, like a billionaire could actually afford to design it himself, that a car is actually under that chassis, like a Dodge Challenger got modified. Like, I love the fact that we're getting a Batmobile, and yeah, a lot of people are talking about Fast and the Furious. I love Fast and the Furious. I want the Bat family against the Fast family movie in a heartbeat. If Fast 10 can be Batman crossover, give me that movie. They were going to cross over Men in Black and 21 Jump Street. You can cross over Batman and Vin Diesel. Do it. Let's get that Valiant crossover with DC. That's a Bloodshot reference. He's also in Bloodshot, which is coming out in March, but I haven't seen yet, but press has. A lot of other press folk have. The press screening was last week. Anyway, that's another whole thing. But the Batmobile itself, those 3 images were fantastic. I'm really excited that we got an image from the perspective of the car with the headlights, and we actually saw a new take on the Batsuit. It's got the Gatling gun. To me, it looks like the Gatling gun. It's super far away. We've got an entire actual military-looking utility belt. We've got a Batsuit that, to me, looks very effective. It's got that Arkham nod, but all of that is shaped around these images of the car, and it's from the director. Matt Reeves shared these 3 images. I'm so glad they're official stills before paparazzi photos. I'm so glad we're learning to let these images come out that are from the intentional place, because I think technically this is the first stills that are official photos. These are the first photos I shared because I don't share paparazzi photos. So those stunt shots, that's not the Batsuit. That's a stunt suit. These are the first actual Batsuit shots we get, and we get them with the Batmobile. For me, the favorite shot was that 3/4 angle where it's like the low-end angle of the car, and it looks like the meanest Challenger you've never driven. I can't wait to see real tactical stuff coming out of the Batmobile. I can't wait to see it feel like a real... It almost looks like the Darren Aronofsky Batman. It looks like that car to me, that actual mechanical probability. And I'm going to do my damnedest to get on the Warner Brothers lot to see this thing in person the moment I can. I'm really excited. Plus, the cowl is still my favorite cowl. That slight hood rising up behind him before it gets to the cowl itself looks so great in all those photos. Yeah, this is shaping up to be amongst my favorite Batmobiles. My favorite Batmobile is probably still the classic, super elongated, high fin, impossible to drive or park in real life. The one that looked a lot like the animated series, like that 89, like that Batmobile is probably my favorite. I love how practical the Tumbler seemed though, so that's really exciting to me, is that we get a mix between the tank of the Tumbler and a street car. It looks like everything. I'm really excited. To me, it's very animated series, so I want that in my life. And the Gatling gun, first shot of the Gatling gun, very excited. All right, so before we move on to the next story, let's see if there's anything in here. I am very excited about Keith David voicing Spawn in the Mortal Kombat game. Yes, I am trying to get back into gaming in a real way. Once my new place has internet, my PS4 will be one of the first things to get attached to it. So I'm going to be getting the Batman games. I've never played the Arkham games. I only know the Arkham suit. So I'm going to be playing the Arkham games the first time. The only game I've played since Spider-Man on PS2 is Spider-Man on PS4. So It is heartbreaking. I have a PS4 now and I haven't gotten to use it. So that is the plan. I'll be jumping in there. I'll probably get Mortal Kombat. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. I'm excited to check that out. So that'll be happening. Sorry, I hadn't opened Streamlabs yet, so I'm going to jump in there on my laptop here. But yeah, the Batmobile itself, very excited about. Everyone in the live chat, thank you very much. I am very excited about the Batmobile as well and the animated series car. Thank you for agreeing. We also found out this week, I wanted to talk to you guys because if you live in LA, there is a giant event coming, and it looks absolutely insane. There is a Netflix comedy festival that the lineup is like nothing I've ever seen before. It is effectively Coachella for comedy, and it looks magical. I'm a huge stand-up comedy guy. I'm really excited for that world to expand and Netflix to use their platform to make it even bigger. The lineup includes Ali Wong, Amy Schumer, Dave Chappelle, Arsenio Hall, Burt Kreischer, Billy Crystal, Bill Burr, one of my favorites of all time. Let's see, Catherine O'Hara. I'm literally just scrolling and reading some of my favorites. Chelsea Handler, Chris D'Elia, Chris Rock, Dave Attell. I'm only on D, y'all. Dave Letterman, again, Dave Chappelle. It is 100% the craziest festival I've ever seen for comedy. It's taking place at the Hollywood Bowl. It's taking place at a number of other venues throughout Los Angeles. I think it starts in late April, goes through the first weekend in May. Graham Norton, who in my opinion has one of the best talk shows in the history of talk shows. I would love to see Graham Norton. He's playing at the Greek. We also have, I don't know how to say her name, Eliza Schlesinger, who I think is hilarious, but I can't say her name. Jane Fonda is doing a show. Jeff Ross, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Jeffries. I'm not going to just keep reading names at you. Check out the NetflixIsAJokeFest.com. This is my most anticipated festival that isn't Burning Man. If I had infinite funds, I would be at every single night of this. As it stands now, I cannot afford a single one of these, but I will happily pimp myself out and tell you you should. It sounds magic. Once again, taking place late April. It's like all the Netflix comedy shows you watch in person. Live comedy is so magic. Being in the room, in the space with like-minded people, sharing a laugh is one of the best ways to find happiness and love in the world. There's so much negativity, there's so much darkness, there's nothing like a good laugh. And if you're laughing with people that have similar sensibilities to you, if you're not a fan of Dave Chappelle's humor, I don't recommend going to a show, but if you are a fan, that's magic. There's nothing like live comedy if it's your sense of humor. There's a lot of stand-ups I don't particularly like. There's a lot I do, but I'm not gonna be that guy in the room bringing down the mood. So if that's your thing, absolutely check it out. I'm really, really excited. Everyone in the chat getting very, very hypey about me not having played Batman Arkham. I will definitely want to do that. I will check it out as soon as I can, I promise you. All right, we also have this week, we got word that Ruffalo is likely coming back to play Hulk in She-Hulk. He's had a few quotes that lend themselves to think that is actually going down. It makes sense. If you guys don't know She-Hulk's origin, Jennifer Walters is the cousin of Bruce Banner. Potential spoiler alert from a comic from 30 years ago for a show next year, 2 years from now. Basically, Bruce Banner is hurt. He needs help. And the only way that can happen is a blood transfusion. When that happens, some of his blood gets to Jennifer, his cousin. Jennifer Walters then becomes the awesome She-Hulk. She-Hulk is very different in that she is intelligent while the Hulk. And at this point, the Bruce Banner Hulk hadn't been that often. He'd been sometimes, but not often. She-Hulk stays intelligent. She also broke the fourth wall well before Deadpool did. She also is an incredible lawyer, right up there with Matt Murdock. They face off and they team up a lot. It's a really cool character. I'm really excited for her to get her time to shine. I'm really hoping for an Amy Sherman Palladino meets Aaron Sorkin-esque courtroom drama with shades of comic bookdom. I'm really hoping they lean into the lawyer side because Jennifer Walters is so intelligent. I want to see that version of the character. And then you can have the CGI fight fest with the Hulk after. But if we care about her, we'll care more about She-Hulk when she She-Hulks out. So I love the idea of bringing Mark Ruffalo in because it gives us the opportunity to be invested by default. From the jump, we're going to care if we already love Mark Ruffalo. So I think using that original origin is a great way to invest us in the character. Plus, it's really interesting that you can't have a Hulk movie because of Universal. So basically Hulk is owned by Universal for solo films, but not She-Hulk. So you can have the character of the Hulk as played by Mark Ruffalo as long as he's not in a solo endeavor. So you can have as much Hulk as you want in the She-Hulk show for the origin, and that can be its own solo endeavor. And then you can play with the She-Hulk continuity. You can go crazy with that character. You can do a solo She-Hulk movie because it's different legal, it's different lawsuits and stuff. So I think it's a really good opportunity to dive in, have that opportunity to have a full-fledged Hulk without any copyright issues with Universal and Marvel. So I could see She-Hulk becoming our standard bruiser of the Avengers, and I really think that it'd be really cool to have that be our next phase of Avengers leading out of these Disney Plus shows. Because Kevin Feige's already said the characters from the Disney Plus show, when they're introduced, that's their origin. But when they're actually on screen, that's when you get the opportunity to, you know, go to the big screen, go cinematic, do the bigger team-up movies. So it's a really cool opportunity. And let's see, live chat question. What if we get the bar fight between Wolverine and Hulk, and the person trying to keep them from going nuts is She-Hulk? Man, I think we might get the new Wolverine through the Hulk. I think that we might get an origin that lands around Hulk 181 down the line. I don't know if that's going to happen later on She-Hulk, but I really think that it's a good opportunity to use some comic canon to make nerds really excited. And then a few people are saying, wouldn't mind more intellectual fights versus physical in the MCU, just for a fun shakeup. I agree. I think one of the things that made Daredevil so good was the fights were contained, they were brutal, but we cared about everyone in them. We were so invested in Matt Murdock. He wasn't Daredevil till like episode 8. He was in the dark suit and he was, you know, more of a ninja. And we were so invested that the hallway fight, you feel those punches in the hallway fight because you feel the person receiving them. You don't care about the person, you don't care about the fight. So She-Hulk could use some verbal combatanship before she actually fights, you know? Like, I'd rather see her go tete-a-tete in the courtroom before she fights Bullseye or whoever she ends up fighting. Sorry, I'm on Daredevil on the mind, so Bullseye's right there. I am back live, Scuba Steve Films. All right, Scuba Steve, patron. I remember that name because Scuba Steve is excellent. Thanks for being a patron. Y'all joining the Patreon has made me so happy. I really appreciate you. You have no idea. All right, we also need to jump over and talk about the Star Wars stuff. I also missed the Daredevil show. Hashtag Save Daredevil. I am a part of that craziness. I am with you there. All right, so Star Wars, guys. This week, Star Wars. Actually, no. There's a live chat question. I want to try to get as many of these as I can. Any news on the Hawkeye show? Yes. What I'm hearing is that Jeremy Renner is starting to train like next quarter. So quarter 2, we've got Renner going into training. As far as I know, we haven't confirmed Haley Stanfield. I think she's a perfect Kate Bishop. I hope she gets confirmed. I think it's more of a scheduling issue. She's a very successful Oscar-nominated powerhouse actress, so I'm sure she's really busy, and I'm sure Disney Plus wants to lock down like 4 or 5 seasons. So I think that's the issue. But I hope we get confirmation on her soon. And I know that Renner's training, or I hear that Renner's training. I don't know, but I hear he's training. So I'm really excited for what we can do with the Hawkeye show. But so much love for Daredevil in the live chat. Hell yeah. All right, let's kick it over to Star Wars. Let's stay with Disney. Let's go Star Wars. This week has been a weird week in Star Wars, y'all. We got a weird retcon about the kiss with Rey and Kylo, saying it was like a platonic kiss. I didn't see that, and I don't know. That seems, I don't know. It didn't feel that way to me, and it kind of seems to undermine a lot of the direction they were trying to take the characters in. It seems to just be one of those, you know, the J.K. Rowling effect, where they're like, that didn't work, let's make this. I don't think that's the case, but I didn't write the movie. And then the weirder one for me was the Palpatine clone saga situation. Why would they have Palpatine's son be a clone of Palpatine and have Rey be the daughter of a failed clone, if not to have the dramatic I am your father moment, but like off camera? It feels like they were trying to shoehorn in a classic moment, but like in the place between the lines. Like it was like this weird fanfic. It feels very contrived to be rewriting Star Wars after. I don't know. It's a lot of really complicated stuff with the Star Wars lore. I am hoping that once it's all settled and done, when we lean more into The Mandalorian, more into the new trilogy, more into whatever Rian Johnson's doing, I'm excited for the Skywalker dust to settle, and then in 10 years we get a very dramatic director's cut / documentary explaining all the lore and the behind the scenes of what happened. I really want to know the actual details of what the movie was trying to tell me. I really want to know. It's like the Snyder cut, man. I want to know what it is that we're trying to see the full picture as. And until we see the full picture, it's really hard to judge the pieces. And it's also really interesting. We're living in a time where these movies are so big, they need like explainer vids. I like when art's interpretive, but I also like when it has, if it's a blockbuster and has a through line, when you tell me something later that completely contradicts how I felt, that just makes me feel like I didn't experience the film right, which makes me feel weird as a film goer. So I'm team give me a director's cut. I'm team give me a documentary. I'm curious what all these things are going to say down the line. I don't know. When I watch something like Enemy, Jake Gyllenhaal and Denis Villeneuve's Enemy, when that ends and I'm confused, that feels like the intention of the film. It feels like they're trying to make me second guess reality or understand deeper meaning in something. But when I watch a movie that just tells me later I was wrong, I feel shortchanged. So I have weird feelings towards Rise of Skywalker, but I know a lot of people really enjoy it, so I'm not gonna dive into that on this episode. But yeah, it's weird how they're changing stuff in post. We also this week got a new Yorick for Y the Last Man. It is no longer Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan from Dunkirk, soon to be from Eternals. What a great problem, right? The kid from the Eternals is like, I can't do this other awesome comic book property because I'm too busy with this other comic book property. He's a great Irish actor. He's a really talented dude. I'm a fan of him. Rode in a golf cart with him once, very friendly. I was at a con, we were just parking, and he was very nice. But I really like the dude's vibe, and I really like how much he respects comic books. So we unfortunately lost him because of his other obligations, and we got a new guy who I don't know at all named Ben Schnetzer. I've never seen this guy's work, but his resume is great, and he's a Broadway-trained actor. So he's definitely seen that side of acting. I'd rather have an unknown quantity than go with someone with a lot of Instagram followers that doesn't fit, or someone that has, a 20-year legacy that's way too old for the character. I think this Ben Schnetzer guy is really intriguing. I know they've had some showrunner changeovers. I know they've had some stuff where they've had to restructure whose characters are playing what. But Brian K. Vaughan's excited. FX seems excited. I love the book Y the Last Man, so I'm really excited to see where we go from there. So I'm really invested. I'm really in. I'm really curious what it is as far as, is it one season show like Watchmen? Is it a 5-season show? How deep into the lore of Y the Last Man do we get? Because this thing has been, in production for 10 years. Shia LaBeouf was attached to play Yorick at one point back in his Disturbia days. When Disturbia was made, DJ Caruso, the director, wanted to make Y the Last Man next. So that was forever ago. So I've been waiting on Y the Last Man for a decade. I'm excited for this adaptation. I think FX is such a consistent powerhouse network. After the madness of Legion, I trust them blindly. So give me that show. I'm very curious. All right. See, I made the mistake of talking about Star Wars, and now the live chat is just Star Warsing it up, and I feel like I'm not the person. I know a lot of you guys know me from Collider, and that is a very Star Wars-centric network, but I can't answer much about Star Wars. I watch those. It's cool to watch Star Wars not knowing much, because I get to imagine how people watch, Marvel and DC films. They don't read every comic. They get to experience it completely with just the information they're given. So when I watch Star Wars, I'm just, whatever line they're telling me, I'm like, that sounds cool. So when the live chat goes crazy with Star Wars, I definitely don't know. I'm going to fully own that. Not my fandom as much. We also got a poster this week for Jon Stewart's Irresistible. If you guys are like me, The Daily Show was a giant... It was like 18 pieces of fabric on the quilt that makes up Coy. The Daily Show is amongst the most influential pieces of content in my life. It made me want to be a talk show host. It made me get into understanding a little more about politics. It gave me something to laugh at, which also gave me knowledge, and being able to educate while alleviating tension is magic, kind of like stand-up comedy. It introduced me to a lot of incredible comedians. The Daily Show, giant part of my life. Jon Stewart, huge part of my life. I've read like 3 of his biographies, written by, like, unauthorized biographies, trying to understand what makes that guy tick. I can't wait to see his next movie, because it's a political satire and he's directing it. Either he wrote it or co-wrote it. I am all in. I am very, very excited. The cast is great. The poster's funny by itself. I can't wait for a trailer. Jon Stewart, thank you for everything you've done. Also, if you guys haven't seen Death to Smoochie, very underrated, really good content. What else has Jon Stewart done? Like, Jon Stewart was in The Faculty. If you guys haven't seen The Faculty, Jon Stewart's fantastic in it. All right. Yeah, I agree. Productions, Jon Stewart's Daily Show is a legendary show. Hope it will stand the test of time like Johnny Carson and other shows. I absolutely agree. I'd put Jon Stewart right up there with Johnny Carson as far as the incredible caliber of changing the landscape of his entire genre. I think he changed talk shows forever, and he followed Craig Kilborn very well, and then changed the Daily Show, and then that got us Colbert. That helped us get Steve Carell. He did so much. All right, I'm gonna take a couple live chat questions in just a second. I'm gonna click over and check the old Streamlabs and make sure I didn't miss anything. We also this week got this week in theaters. We got The Way Back and Onward. I have not yet seen Onward. I did see The Way Back, so I want to talk about that in just a moment. Man, this is a whole lot going on. Sorry about that. I really enjoyed The Way Back. I'm a big Ben Affleck fan. You guys are probably aware. I think that he is the coolest looking Batman we've ever gotten as far as just sheer impact. Like, the iconography of Ben Affleck's Batman is so much. Good Will Hunting was impossibly important to me. I'm a Boston kid. I definitely have a Ben Affleck bias. But seeing an actor of his caliber doing that kind of work about something so personal to him was just incredible. It was so important. This movie, he's had very public experiences with alcoholism. He's had very public battles with his privacy because of that. And I feel like he just headed this movie in a direction of like, hey, this is full exposure. This is what I've gone through. A lot of sports movies have to deal with addiction. A lot of sports movies have to deal with a coach that's going through a lot in order to teach his players, his students, all that jazz. But it was really interesting in this versus, like, some of my favorites are Half Nelson, Winning Season, all those things. But those actors weren't as publicly involved with the substances they were, portraying. Ben Affleck is known for some of those things. So for him to be that open and that honest and that everything else, it was just really powerful to see, and it felt like therapy. Shia LaBeouf last year had Honey Boy, and it was also really cool to see someone going through basically therapy about their addiction while talking about the thing that they've gone through a narrative structure. I love Gavin O'Connor. I think he's one of the best sports directors of all time. He also made Warrior and Miracle, and I think he really understands pacing and tone and the subjective nature of sports. So this movie nails a one-man performance for Ben Affleck. For 60% of the movie, it's just Affleck. The supporting cast is great. The kids are fantastic. I really loved the love story that never went in cheesy directions. You never didn't believe it, and it felt like a battle with alcoholism. I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you, The Way Back. If you guys haven't seen it, do check it out. I'm gonna check out Onward this weekend. Wait, it's Sunday. I missed the weekend. I'm gonna check out Onward probably tomorrow or Tuesday. And then I also saw Invisible Man, which I enjoyed, but enjoyed less than a lot of people. So I dig it. Let's see. We've got in the live chat, Smack Talk 6 says, just FYI, when you did your test streams days ago, I paused Stop Making Sense to watch them. I never paused Stop Making Sense, but I did it for you, and I'll gladly do it again. Smack Talk, you're one of my favorites, man. Thank you for pausing Stop Making Sense. I am honored. I appreciate you. I was just doing testers, and I proved that my internet did not, in fact, work in the new place. I was trying to ping off a Wi-Fi, like, too far away. The nearby house's Wi-Fi did not work. I had the password. I was supposed to be on the Wi-Fi. It's just not connected enough to upload. So thank you for being there for those testers. You are much appreciated. And thank you for pausing Stop Making Sense for me. I am very honored and flattered. And thank you for throwing something in the Streamlabs. You are fantastic. All right, let's go over to... have you guys seen Sonic yet? If you've seen Sonic, tell me in the live chat. I've been debating seeing that or Onward first. Those are the two I need to see. Invisible Man, I enjoyed. It reminded me a lot of 90s thrillers, and I'm a big 90s thriller fan. I wanted to be... I was scared, but the twists all felt very pulp novel-y. I like a pulp novel when it winks at you. I don't like a pulp novel when it stares at you. I like it to be like a tongue-in-cheek thing. I like it like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang handles pulp tone impossibly well. I felt like this handled a lot of its big, like, aha moments with too much of a, like, we're in a telenovela, and, like, too big, and, like, we're on a soap opera. And I see what they were going for, and it worked for a lot of people, and I am happy those people got their movie, but the tonal shift into that didn't feel right to me. It went from a very serious drama with very serious consequences, and the performances were all very grounded and real, and then some of the twists just felt like mustache twirling. So I liked it, glad I saw it. I was definitely invested in the thrills and the twists and the turns, but for me, it wasn't the AAA plus I kept hearing. I liked it like a B minus. So it was still good, still worth seeing. I just didn't think it was the Conjuring or, you know, what everybody else had been. That's another problem. I waited till Monday to see it, so I had too much hype. Okay, let's see what people are saying about Sonic. We got a lot of caps lock. Sonic is great. Seen it 5 times. Matthew Richards has seen it 5 times. That's amazing. 90s Jim Carrey is what I'm about. Sonic. Okay, a lot of people highlighting Sonic. I will be checking it out. All right, guys. I will jump in there. Okay, let's go over to television. Okay, guys. Let's get real. Let's get focused. Let's get serious. This is us. I don't know where you guys found me, if it was Nerdist, Screen Junkies, Collider, comic book shopping. Maybe you just randomly clicked this link because you thought my name looked funny. It doesn't matter. If you're not watching This Is Us, which is a network show, and I rarely watch network TV, you are missing out on one of the most important pieces of modern culture. It's so good. It is a therapy lesson every week. It is handling important subject matter without feeling like pandering. It is teaching important lessons without feeling like you're in school. It is entertaining while educating. It is making you laugh and cry. It is doing all the cliches. Every cheesy logline you see on a poster or TV show, it's doing at me, and I love it for it. I couldn't love This Is Us more. This season, they're really handling Randall's anxiety in a way that it hits really close to home. I have a decent amount of anxiety. I've had panic attacks and I've had anxiety attacks, and the way they shape the narrative of that on the show, it's helping me, and it's helping the characters relate to Randall better and the things that Kevin's going through. I honestly, this show, it feels like having a great conversation with a really good friend. It is incredible. So if you guys don't watch This Is Us, please do check it out. It's the kind of content I want there to be more of. It makes me really happy every week because it definitely has some special closure. All right. Hey, my mom's in the chat. My mom just watched season 2, episode 4 of This Is Us. Thanks, Mom. My mom heard me raving about it and jumped in there. Everybody say hi to my mom. She is lovely. All right. Oh, it's International Women's Day. Say hi to your moms and your grandmas and your sisters and your aunts and your cousins. It is International Women's Day, and women are so much stronger and more emotionally balanced and better than dudes, guys. Like, sometimes you just gotta own that shit. Like, they have babies. I stub my toe and I am a little bitch. They make life happen, and holy shit, we wouldn't be here without them. Straight up, hard stop. That's just science. The fact that the fact that International Women's Day is necessary is bullshit, because every day is International Women's Day. Women are incredible. Hug your moms. Tell them they're the best. I can't. And I won't get into politics, but man, the irony of the day happening after the election, the general, I can't. Also, watch SNL. Worm was incredible. That was subtle, right? Feel that subtlety? All right, let's get into comic books. Let's talk about the last 2 weeks of February. I read a bunch of comics, and I want to talk about them with y'all. All right. February 12th, I loved Batman's Grave number 5, Batman Pennyworth Rest in Peace, Doctor Strange number 3, Gwen Stacy number 1, Hawkeye Free Fall number 3. Let's break those 5 down. Batman's Grave number 5, really intense story. Warren Ellis, Brian Hitch, very solid. I am a huge fan of this book. If you've never read a Batman book, fun starting point. Like, you don't need to know a lot about Batman to really just get Batman. He's fantastic. Batman Pennyworth, again, I am a huge Pennyworth fan, so some espionage stuff. I love the lore of the MI6 Pennyworth, so it's effectively a funeral book where the Bat family comes and tells stories about Alfred and mourns him as a family. It's very good. Doctor Strange number 3, Mark Waid writes the hell out of the Surgeon Supreme. He is incredible. I think this is amongst my favorite Doctor Strange runs of all time, and it's only in issue 3. It's a great spot to jump on. Gwen Stacy number 1. It's number 1. It's Gwen Stacy. She is with her dad, almost buddy cop-esque, solving crimes, being a badass, and it's not her coming back from the dead. It takes place in the 60s. She is an incredible character. I am a big fan of Gwen Stacy and getting more time to shine. If you guys haven't checked out Coy-Cast, which is my new podcast, I go on an entire rant about how important the character of Gwen Stacy is and how that love affected Mary Jane and the love of Peter Parker's life and all of those things. We've got a super chat. I just saw it pop up on my phone. Gallon Shumway. Thought of you years ago. Lost best box of comics. Valiant signed copies from the 70s. Spawn by 70s Spawn. Signed by Capullo and McFarlane. Issues 16 and 26. Just amazing books. Lost since 1996. Found. Dude, I am so glad I interrupted my own mid-rant of comics to talk about that. You found a box from 96? Dude, I was 8. That's incredible. That's a 23-year loss. Congratulations, man. And also, those are some books, man. Old School Capullo and McFarlane. Issues 16 and 26 is, what, that would have been 92? 93? Man, like, that was a while ago, too. Congratulations. I am very, very happy for you. Enjoy those books. They are treasures. Congratulations on finding those, Gallon. That is, dude, that makes me happy. All right. Hawkeye Freefall number 3. Only 3 issues in, a fantastic run of Hawkeye. He's hard to write because he's really funny, he's really snarky, he's really capable, but he's also kind of a dunce, so he's easy to write too dumb. Hawkeye is a very certain kind of dumb. This book gets Hawkeye. It's a really funny book. I've laughed out loud a couple times reading it, and I like to read comics in public. That's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's weird to read comics in public. Immortal Hulk number 31. You guys have heard me talk about Immortal Hulk many, many times, and I will continue to. It is a damn near perfect book. Jessica Jones, Blind Spot number 3. I might have done this list before on last week's show, so I'm just going to read through the rest. Marvel's Spider-Man, Black Cat Strikes number 2. Marvel's X number 2. Superman number 20. Superman Heroes number 1, which is Superman has unmasked himself, and it's the hero side of the fallout of that, like how they react to him being Clark Kent. Fascinating book. Very good stuff. And then we have Thor number 3. Donny Cates and Nick Klein are on Thor, and Jason Aaron's run is legendary. A 7-year run of Thor is a hard thing to follow. These gentlemen are doing it in style. Donny Cates, I've actually read the passages from the opening of the book aloud multiple times. The first 3 pages of this issue 3 is written with such gravitas, such bravado, such glorious Thor. You want to read it out loud. It's Shakespearean. It's fucking magic. And then the art's Nick Klein. It's metal. It's gruesome. It's godlike. Thor is such a good book. If you're not picking up Thor, you're only 3 issues behind. Pick up Thor. Also, I'm going to announce this here. I have an exclusive Donny Cates interview that I recently got. I need to post it for you guys. I need to watch it through, make sure the sound and everything's good. But exclusive one-on-one interview. Me and Donny Cates, we talk Hulk, we talk Thor, we talk Venom, we talk Thanos. It's like a 40-minute conversation. I'm going to be posting that exclusively to this channel. He also talks about some things he's never talked about in interviews before, some characters that he's got ideas for, some exclusive Marvel ideas, some long-term plans. So it is a really cool interview. I've known Donny since before he was done with Thanos, and I've known some of the things he was trying to lock in motion way back then, and now they've already happened, so it was cool to like unlock those things. So it's a really cool interview with me and Donny, and you guys are going to get it. It is going to be an exclusive to this channel interview, and I'm really proud of it. So I'm going to be posting that very soon, because you guys have been very patient with my lack of internet knowledge and my inconsistency of posting shows. Frankly, I've been embarrassed. I wanted to have a Tuesday and Friday show consistent, but all of the madness of my moving and my not having internet and my not knowing OBS has caused that to be a problem. So I'm really excited that I will be able to give 2 pieces of content this week, and hopefully the Donny Cates interview very, very soon. So thank you for your patience. That's just for y'all. I'm really proud of it. We also got Venom number 23. Speaking of Donny Cates, Eddie Brock is on an island fighting the Venom and Carnage symbiotes. It is brutal. It is Mark Bagley art. It is metal. It is awesome. And then X-Force number 7. X-Force is the grittiest it's been in a long time. It's probably my favorite X-Force run since Rick Remender's run. The X-Force are the group of mutants who have to do the Black Ops stuff. They do the stuff the X-Men can't, and the team they've assembled is so great. I am a huge fan of this X-Force run, and it's only in issue 7. Basically, Domino is kidnapped, and in Krakoa, where they're all staying now, the mutants are on an island called Krakoa. You need to be a mutant to enter through these portals. So this mercenary team, these awful humans, capture Domino, and they start stripping flesh off her and adhering it to themselves, and like trying to, you know, utilize that to break into Krakoa. And then they also create a bunch of like horrible... Read the book. I don't want to give anything more away, but that happens issue 2. It gets graphic. It's gross. Wolverine is awesome in it. It is a fantastic book. Please check it out. It's real good. So that is all my favorites from February 12th. So I'm reading 70-ish, depending on the week, 70 to 100 books a week. So I'm giving you guys my like top 10 to 15. So these are just the ones that were my favorites. I'm reading a lot more, so a lot of people on Instagram and like, what about this book, this book? These are just my faves. There's a lot of great books out there. I just can't talk about every single one of them. So these are my highlights. I do have a thing on my Patreon if you guys want. That is, I basically rate every single comic I read. So A, B, C, D, F, and then A plus, A minus, whatever. But I rate them like school grade. And then that's one of my Patreon tiers. You can find out all the books I read, all the grades I gave them. I will never, like, I'm literally just wanting to give you guys information. But if you want more, that's where you can find it on my Patreon. Let's talk about the week of February 19th. We are almost up to date, y'all. I am so close on being caught up on comics. I actually just finished the last week of February yesterday. So I'm reading this week's books. For the first time in 2020, y'all, I am reading this week's books. I am so hyped to be caught up. By the time I film another show, I'll be on the current week. So elated. I just finished Strange Adventures. Okay, February 19th, 2020. Archie, 7-Eleven. I never read Archie growing up. I just picked up Archie at issue 700 because my buddy Trevor is on the show. And Trevor's like, yeah, the Archie comics are great. He's a big comic book dude, so I trust him. Trevor told me to pick up Archie, and I'm so glad I did. I've read since issue 700. That's a really fun book. It feels like 50s nostalgia wrapped in teen hijinks. It has that Stranger Things flavor. Stranger Things obviously 80s, but that nostalgic for a bygone era flavor. And I just love the love story. I just love the happiness of young love. It is such a cute book. It's real good, man. Check out Archie. Batman number 89, our first appearance of Punchline, the new Joker love interest. This book has damn near every Batman rogue. It is a fantastic book. James Tynion IV is killing it on his Batman run. He's only a few issues in, and this is a brilliant book. I love Batman 89. We also got Captain Marvel number 15. Captain Marvel is a very hard character to write. She's hard to put in the movies. She's hard to handle because she's such a powerful character. So it's like one of those, like, how do you fight a god? Like, how do you handle that much power? Because Carol's a beast. So I love that this book is handling that by having her take out a bunch of Avengers, but doing it smartly. And there's a twist. There's a reason she's taking out these Avengers, and it's really fun because she's handling the Avengers because she can. That's what Carol Danvers, she's that powerful. It's a cool book. Daredevil number 18. I have not read a Chip Zdarsky book I haven't loved. Hard stop. Every Chip Zdarsky book is exactly my shit. He writes incredible Spider-Man stories. He writes incredible Daredevil stories. He draws on sex criminals excellently and so much humor. Chip Zdarsky, thank you, man, just for being you. Thank you. This Daredevil run, amongst my favorites of all time, and Daredevil is one of my favorite characters. Daredevil also has a historic run. After, like, Kevin Smith onward, every arc has been brilliant. So that's like a 10-year, holy crap, it's so good. So do check out the Daredevil run by Chip Zdarsky. It is brilliant. All right, let's see what's going on in the live chat. Rose Kirby, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh, I made it live. I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you for bouncing out of a crappy situation so fast. We need more people like you in the world. Hell yeah. I will be bringing you guys comic content with or without network anywhere I can. Happy to. I appreciate it. Let's see. TVSKA Productions. Tevshka? What is my Streamlab? It is streamlabs.com / Coy-Jandreau, I think. If you type in Coy-Jandreau, I should pop up there, but I'm not sure how that works. I will... okay, let's see. Someone found me. Gallon found me. Okay, let's see if I can link that. I'll link that next time. I apologize. If anyone can link him to Streamlabs, I'm going to get mods as soon as I have fresh internet. All apologies there. Thank you, the Schmo Way. I appreciate it. Okay, let us check out Deadly Class number 43. Deadly Class is such a good book. It's one of my favorite recent indie books. If you watch the show, the book is even better. I loved the show. The show is one of those rare comics that I hadn't read and the show brought me over, which is the power of multiple adaptations and multiple medias. I think it is a great commentary on politics, on the wealth divide, on teen angst, on drug culture, on the 80s, on the war on drugs, on capitalism. It is such a dense and smart book, all while being entertaining, all while being this insane Hogwarts of a assassin school. I love Deadly Class. It is 43 issues in, so it's pretty far into its run, but you can jump on almost anywhere. It is incredible. If you haven't read Deadly Class, please do. It is brilliant. We also have Guardians number 2. I didn't love Guardians of the Galaxy issue 1, and I love Al Ewing. Al Ewing's writing Immortal Hulk. He's brilliant. I didn't dig issue 1. I was a little bummed. Issue 2, complete 180 for me. I am all in. I am about this series now. Issue 2 grabbed me. I'm running with it. Guardians 2, fantastic book. Joker Killer Smile number 3. Joker Killer Smile is this great 3-issue contained arc. Joker basically starts seeing a therapist is appointed to him in Arkham Asylum, and it warps the reality of everybody involved. I'm not going to give anything away. Joker Killer Smile is a brutal book. It's very good. Legion of Superheroes number 4. Again, I wasn't into Legion 1 through 3. I love Brian Michael Bendis, but 1 through 3 didn't catch me. 4, something about this week, hooked me. I'm all in. It was fun. It's zany. It's big. I'm a huge fan of this book now. Marauders number 8. Kitty Pryde as a pirate. Come on, what more do you want? She's rescuing mutants on the 7 seas. So badass. Soup's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 8. One of the weirdest books on the shelves, an anthology book, brilliantly drawn, brilliantly written, laugh out loud funny, everything you want in a Jimmy Olsen book. Big fan. Undiscovered Country number 4, really weird book. It is a story of the United States closing, sealing its borders, and what happens in the sealed up land of the United States, and then people trying to investigate it Mad Max style. It's a very Mad Maxian, but like dystopian future book. It's real weird. I'm digging it. We've also got Valkyrie Jane Foster number 8, a very consistent run. Jason Aaron writing Jane Foster is always a good time. The art is exceptional. It deals with death in a really beautiful way. It's actually like shifted my perspective on death, like in my own life. It's actually changed how I see death. It's a really powerful book. Wolverine number 1, a new Wolverine book. Come on, it's obvious. You gotta check it out. And then Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 2. Wonder Woman in a dystopian future, handling the fallout of mankind, battling her love of humanity with what humanity's done to Amazonians. Brilliant, brilliant take. All right, that is all of the books for those last 2 weeks over there. Next week, I'm going to cover the last week of February and the first week of March, but I'm going to give you guys my pull list for this current week. That is, of course, the first week of March is going to be, I would recommend, Batman number 90, Black Cat number 10, Daredevil number 19, Doctor Strange number 4, Flash is on issue 750. How insane is that? Lois Lane number 9, Magnificent Miss Marvel number 13, Marvel number 1, written by Alex Ross, Miles Morales Spidey number 16, Spider-Man Noir number 1, that's right, Nick Cage's character from Spider-Verse has a new number 1, Strange Adventures number 1 from Tom King, Mitch Gerads, and Doc Shaner. Holy crap, that run's going to be crazy. And finally, Strange Academy number 1, which is effectively Hogwarts in the Marvel Universe, Doctor Strange and Magic with a K, the character, running a school, and Superman Villains number 1. What happens when Clark Kent reveals himself? How do the villains react? It is a whole thing. So those like 12 books are my most anticipated of this current week. So it's Sunday. If you go to your comic store tomorrow, those will be the books that came out Wednesday. Those are 5 days ago's books. Now, while we're now at the end of the show, 54 of you are with me on a Sunday. It is 10:30 on the East Coast. I am flattered. I am honored. Thank you, 50 people, for being here. I didn't tweet this. I didn't share this link. This is just subscribers. These are people that got notified. Y'all are amazing. I literally just jumped on for a random, spontaneous Sunday stream because I haven't missed a week yet. Even with the move, with my travels, with my internet, I won't miss a week. I want to be dedicated to you guys because I appreciate the Koi Cubed community. The Koi Pond is strong. Did not want to disappoint. So we got a show in this week against all odds. And y'all 50 that are still here at the end, I want to talk to you about my new show. Koicast is a podcast that's just me talking all the stuff I used to on a certain giant-sized podcast and more. I can talk a little bit more about other things I like. I can break into wide-release movies that I think you'll dig. I can break into indie movies I think you'd dig. I can talk about UFC when I want. But I'm going to make sure the Koicast is like 85-90% comics. So if you're driving, if you're at the gym, if you've got a long commute, if you like walking around listening to podcasts, that is a very comic-centric podcast. But 10 to 15% of my own stuff I like to sprinkle in there. So it is an hour of me. It is over at Dragon Wagon Radio. I am very proud of it. I actually listened to the first episode and I never listened to my own stuff. And I think it's a really cool, it's a different format. A lot of podcasts are two people talking and having conversation. I really like to get to play with the radio show format. I get to be the Howard Stern of comic books. I get to shape, not comparing myself to Howard Stern, I just mean the format. I just realized how that sounded. He is a god. I'm trying to be a demigod and then a god. But I think that it gives me a really cool opportunity to connect with you guys. And there is a Hotmail number where you guys can call in, you can leave comments, you can ask questions. I'm going to get to as many of the appropriate ones as I can. And it's a cool opportunity for you guys to be on it with me. And that's a huge help because of the Patreon and because of you guys with the Streamlabs and the Super Chats that allows me to jump on a podcast and give you guys even more content. So that's going to be dropping Wednesday mornings. I'm going to be giving you guys a pull list bright and frickin' early so you can bring that audio, put it to your comic store owner's ear, and play them my list. And if you guys like my weird taste, they'll be like, this is weird. Why is this man telling me what to buy? And I'll be like, trust me, guy. And then you have a pull list from my mouth to their ears, and that's your comics. So Wednesday, it's going to drop bright and early, and that'll give you guys the day to pick up the pull list. I'll also break down the biggest news. I'll also try to do some sort of trailer commentary. A new trailer is probably coming out this week that I'm excited about, so I'm going to try to jump on that. I'm excited for that, if that is true. And yeah, I'm going to jump and add the Streamlabs in the description. Thank you, Schmoe. That is definitely going to happen. But yeah, all of my little sisters in here. What up, Nana? See, this is the magic of the internet. I get to talk to my family on the East Coast at 10:30 at night because they're absolutely fantastic, excellent people. So yeah, Tuesdays and Fridays is the plan for Koi Cubed once everything is set up. Wednesdays will be Koi Cast. I also can soft announce that if you guys are in Los Angeles and you're a fan of comic book movies, there's an event I am doing late April that I will be announcing early April that you guys will be interested in. So keep your eyes peeled to this very place so I can actually let you know what that's going to be. But it is a comic-centric live event that I will be hosting and running around with late April. Apparently, Juliana's been in the chat for a long time. I apologize, Nana. There's so much chat going on, and hi. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's any questions real quick. If you guys have them, throw them in there now, because I'm gonna wrap it up in just a minute, but I appreciate you very, very much. Nerdy by nature, I do not know when we're getting the Eternals trailer, but I do think there is another trailer coming very soon. Very soon. Very soon. And then, let's see. My mom listened to Koicast at the gym. That makes me so proud. My mom getting them gains and listening to comic book talks. Yes, that is excellent. Let's see. Ragged Company Recordings. Hello, as always. I am just... Now that it's at the end of the show, I feel like these are the ride or dies that want to hang out to the hour mark, so I feel less bad scrolling through the live chat, but I don't want to be like looking down the whole time. Batman number 90 and Punchline. I have not read Batman number 90 yet. Punchline, I dug in issue 89. I'm reading this week's books starting tomorrow, so I've only read Strange Adventures, so I've got 60 books, but Batman's near the top of that list, so I'll be checking that out ASAP, and that'll be reviewed on the next Koi Cubed, I promise you. Let's see. The crappy Superman arcade game. I actually dug it. Batman 89. Oh, I just put together Batman 89. The first Punchline appearance is also like a nod to Batman 89, the Michael Keaton movie, and all the video game stuff. That's cool. I'm sure that was on purpose. That's rad. Gallon's collection was Spawn 1 through 66 in 2 sets. Hell yeah, man. Souped Up Barracuda for the win. I totally agree. Oh, yeah, Juliana's been in here a while. Coco is I your sister. What up, Nana? We didn't talk about Christian Bale, who he might be playing. Let's wrap that up with that. Let's talk about Christian Bale, y'all. I think he's either Mangog, Gore the God Butcher, or my hope is villain is a relative term, and then he's Beta Ray Bale. I want Christian Bale to finally get to play someone happy. Christian Bale himself is a very jolly guy. He's a happy dude. I want him to not have to always play these characters that are so in duress. I know he loves playing them. I'm not like... I'm sure that's what makes him happy. It's just interesting to never have seen, like if you guys have seen Tom Hardy's... what's that movie? This Means War. It's not a Tom Hardy performance like anything you've seen, but he seems to be having a great time. I just want to see Christian Bale having a great old time. I think it's the first time someone's positively talked about This Means War in quite a while. So I want Beta Ray Bale. I want Beta Ray Bill in the series. I want Bale to play him. That's my bias. I want to see him playing a horse in mocap, wielding that hammer. I want to see Stormbreaker, which we already have in a way in the MCU, so I'm curious how that would work. But we've had nods toward it. Like, we know Taika wants to include him. He's in Ragnarok. The face of Beta Ray Bill is in Ragnarok. I would love that. But I think if he doesn't play him, Gore the God Butcher would be really cool. There's been talk of him playing the CEO of Roxxon, Dario Auger, which I think would be rad because I love Dario in Immortal Hulk. He's this really cool commentary on capitalism and giant companies and corporations, and he's a great commentary on like the way our financial institutions are run. And I think it'd be really cool to see someone like Christian Bale, who clearly likes to play those kind of roles. He played Dick Cheney recently. He clearly is invested in American politics. He's clearly invested in this country. So to play a character that's a villain, that's a commentary on the wealth inequality in this country, would be a great character for him. So Dario Auger would be incredible. Plus, he's an actual Minotaur. To see him like mocap into a Minotaur would be great. But Gore the God Butcher, he's badass, man. He kills gods. He looks really cool. He just had a great turn in Jason Aaron's King Thor. It's a 4-issue miniseries, so if you haven't checked that out. I broke all of this down when the rumor of Christian Bale was to be in Thor Love and Thunder. So it's one of the first episodes. If you guys go back through Koi Cubes, Thor Love and Thunder, when they had the rumor of Christian Bale, I broke down all the characters I thought he might be. But in brief, those are my thoughts. I'm voting Beta Ray Bale, then probably Dario Auger, then Gore the God Butcher, or Mangog, but I hope they make Mangog really fleshed out because you don't want to use Christian Bale in any sort of like... I want nuanced. I want a lot there, and Mangog can be written one of two very different ways. So I'm very curious which way he goes. Let's see. Couple of live chat questions. Bale will play the Beyonder, Mephisto, Gore the God Butcher, Mangog, or Dario Auger. Yeah. I think some of those are an option. I want Mark Hamill to play the Beyonder, man. Imagine like Jerry Curl's white jumpsuit and like just having a good time, like alongside Jeff Goldblum, Mark Hamill. I want the Beyonder to be like Benicio del Toro wacky in Guardians. I want the Beyonder to be Mark Hamill. Personally. So yeah, I agree with a few of those. How do you think the Joker will screw Lex over in his fight with Batman Who Laughs? I don't know, but he will. I'm sure he's played a very long game, and I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I need to revisit the last issue, because I forget how it ends, to be totally honest. I'm reading quite a bit of books, but it's been a while since that issue came out. I did play 90s superhero video games. I was obsessed. Ultimate Spider-Man, the cel-shaded one, is fantastic. All of the Spider-Man games were great. X-Men, the animated series, loose adaptation that was like the side-scroller. Loved that game. I loved all the fighting games we had on PS2. Sega Saturn, I think, had a great Spider-Man game. Like, a lot of really good stuff. I have seen the Dwayne Johnson Black Adam photo, and it is badass. I'm going to keep using metal and badass in this episode. That is the theme. I think that him talking about changing the absolute nature of the DC universe with them gains is something I'm very interested in. I know he's going for a leaner build. I know he got a lot of mass for Hobbs and Shaw, and I know he got a lot of mass back for Hercules. I don't think he's played like as leaned out a character in the last like 2 or 3 movies. So I'm really curious like way he shapes his superhero build, because Shazam obviously has the muscle suit, so he's going to be just The Rock. Like Dwayne Johnson's going to be able to be more physically lean because you can actually build the suit around his real physicality. So it'll be interesting to see. Zach Quinto got obsessed with working out after playing Shazam, so the dude is stacked now. Like he's real life just like ready for it. So it'll be cool to see the new costumes reflecting Zach as Shazam now, and obviously Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. They can actually train for those things. And the way sports nutrition is now, the way, costume design is now, that can be mostly practical, and I'm really excited to see what they do. All right, last thing, Maximum Carnage, Matthew Richards is brilliant. I totally agree. I'm going to check Streamlabs one last time, make sure I didn't miss you guys. That is, by the way, the absolute best way to make sure I catch you, because I will never miss the Streamlabs. I'll be jumping in at all times. Ha yes! Okay, I'm so glad you found us. Taishka Productions. Thank you for the Streamlabs. I'm glad you found it. What was the reason for the change of the Mouthy Mercs faction name? We were worried that there would be legal ramifications once there were shirts. There will be merch coming to you guys. We're going to be making Quirky Mercs merch. We were worried the Mouthy Mercs merch, which is fun to say now that I've said it, Mouthy Mercs merch, was going to be a little too close for Disney's liking, and if there's anything I know, it's you do not mess with the mouse. So I like Disney, I don't want to mess with them. So we thought it would be better safe than sorry, so we went Quirky Mercs. Also, if you look at our team, Mara, Humphrey, Alba, Haley. They're very quirky. We've got a quirky team, so we thought quirky was good. I also, fun behind the scenes story, when I found out we had to change the name, or we should change the name, I was talking to Christian on the phone, and he was like, what do we want the shirt to look like? And I literally was like, all right, I want Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I want him in Predator, but I want him doing the James Bond pose, but he's in a Hawaiian shirt, but I don't like guns, so he's got a banana instead of a gun, because I don't want a gun in the merch. And then they made that image like nothing, man. That image just manifested, and it's exactly like my mind's eye. I'm so happy with the logo. I'm so happy with the name change, because it got me my quirky merc and the banana gun. I'm very excited about it, so it is exactly what I wanted. So that is why the quirky mercs are that, and not the mouthy mercs. Thank you very much for your question and for your Streamlabs. That is probably all the time we have for today, but I very, very much appreciate you. We will be getting back into all this stuff. My mom knows I used to be a giant gamer. PS2 and earlier, I was obsessed with games. Final Fantasy VIII, I'm a defender of, man. I liked Final Fantasy VIII. 10 was great, but I loved 8. Silent Hill, I was a racing game guy. Midnight Club, Need for Speed, all my jam. I'm hoping I have time to get back into it ever, but I read a lot of comics, so who knows? Yeah, I'd love to talk video games, like classic games, another episode. Maybe we'll make time for that next time. But in the meantime, I am so glad this worked out. Thank you all so much for joining me on a random Sunday stream. Spontaneous Sunday streams hopefully can happen more often. I'm working on getting everything set up for you guys. I appreciate it. And it's almost St. Patrick's Day. If you guys can't tell, I'm a little Irish. So I got an idea of maybe a stream to do on St. Patrick's Day that ties in two of my favorite things: comic books and craft beer, on maybe the first ever episode of CBCB that might be coming at you on St. Patrick's Day. So maybe some craft beer and comic books, having a guest on, getting a little legally, appropriately, I'm going to be home, so I don't have to drive responsibly. I'm going to stay responsibly home and celebrate my fellow Irish brethren. We are probably going to do some craft beers and comic books on St. Patrick's Day. So write that down. It's probably coming. Now that I've announced it, I got to do it. It's going to be great. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. And as ever, thank you, comic books, for existing. Y'all